The history of mixed martial arts, giving fighters full creative freedom, is rich in unique techniques and outstanding fight finishes. Today, we have put together a collection of unforgettable knockouts that were obtained by fighters using special techniques, ranked by the uniqueness of the strike, combined with the intensity of the fight. Beloved or hated by many, Michael Page, aka Venom, has a reputation as a celebrity at Bellator and regularly does whatever he pleases for the fun of the public. But contrary to the first impression, his relaxed behavior in the cage does not come from the mediocre level of his opponents, but rather from his roots in kickboxing. Through many years of fighting in the semi-contact division of kickboxing, Page has become a master of distance control, and he is able to punish an opponent using the slightest vulnerability in his defense. With an impressive collection of medals and titles, the British semi-middleweight turned his attention to the MMA in 2012. Venom's first victim was the new fighter Ben Dishman.
He knows what he's got to do. He's got to get the takedown. Corner, the London shoot fighter screaming at him, trying to take it seriously, and there's a spinning kick.
Venom burst into the world of mixed martial arts with an impressive tornado victory. Successful in MMA, Venom soon moved to Bellator, where he amassed 6 stunning victories before facing Evangelista Santos in 2016. Santos's armor could not withstand the lethal knee hits, and this fight became the final chord in the Brazilian's career. In 2011, veteran Stefan Struve was called upon to test the potential of recent UFC rookie Travis Brown. And despite his nearly threefold superiority in fights, the Dutchman faced off as an underdog. The reason for this was the promotion of the unbeaten Hawaiian Brown, who won 8 of his 10 victories by knockout. The agile Travis was in good condition. Nevertheless, having unsuccessfully tried to take the fight to the canvas and experiencing problems with controlling the distance, the Hawaiian got into a difficult situation. This one Superman punch from Brown was enough to bring down the Dutchman. Despite the proven destructive power of such blows, they rarely appear in MMA. Ranked as number 2 in the best knockouts of 2019, landmark Showtime kicker and former UFC lightweight gold owner Anthony Pettis has always had a talent for cage matches. In an effort to overcome a deep recession in his career, he suddenly found himself pitted against Stephen Thompson, known as Wonder Boy. Stephen successfully controlled the fight, attacking Anthony for the majority of the 2 rounds. However, towards the end of the second round, the tables turned, and Pettis was able to land one fantastic Superman punch that sent Thompson to the canvas. Nick Diaz has been known as one of the best boxers in the MMA for the past decade and a half, but things were different in 2004. Before meeting Robbie Lawler at UFC 47, Diaz had a reputation as a dangerous fighter with jiu-jitsu skills, with 4 of his 8 victories by submission. On the opposite side, there was a knockout fighter with basic wrestling skills, Robbie Lawler. But that evening, Nick pulled an unexpected twist, and that was to give the viewers a chance to see the Diaz brothers' signature move, the Stockton Slap. Diaz aggressively moved forward, alternating his blows. Despite this, it was not enough to quickly crush the former champion. The conclusion of the fight came in the 7th minute of the match. Pulling Lawler to himself, Diaz threw out a short right hook that did not seem to pose a serious threat. Also called a phantom punch, it landed exactly on Robbie's exposed jaw. With Lawler on the ground, Nick won his first knockout victory in the octagon. 6 years later at UFC 124, viewers saw a mirror-like replay of this scenario in a duel between 2 winners of the Ultimate Fighter. Mac Danzig and Jeremy Stevens. Waiting for the moment when Stevens rushed into the attack, Danzig managed to cleanly catch his counterpart with a phantom punch in the second minute of the match.
Joe charging in. Look at that. Perfect. Boom. Crazy. I mean, he had no...
On March 1st, 2014, at the Chinese UFC event, little-known, formidable fighters Dong Young Kim and John Hathaway tried with all their might to justify their place in the main event of the evening. And, looking ahead, they succeeded. Both fighters went on a series of 3 victories, and for 11 minutes at a high pace, they exchanged heavy blows, making it clear that the fight had no chance of reaching a referee's decision. In the third round, the intensity of the fight reached its peak. After several elbow attempts, Hathaway ran into an elbow roundhouse and instantly was knocked out. Kim used an impressive blow to win this knockout victory in 2014. John Jones is another roundhouse elbow fan in the UFC, though he has yet to record a clean knockout with such a rare punch. Unlike the long-term light heavyweight champion, the Brazilian featherweight Ricardo Ramos, who managed to score a spectacular finish against Ayman Zahabi, brother of the famous coach Firas Zahabi. In recent years, we have seen a lot of spectacular knockouts with this technique in the MMA. But if a roundhouse kick guarantees an approving response from the public, then a turn-to-turn exchange can shock even a prepared viewer, as Goga Shabatava proved to us at ICB 89. Making his Bellator debut in 2011, Douglas Lima soon ran into champion Ben Askren, who defeated the Brazilian with wrestling. 8 years later, with only one stellar duel in 2019, Ben was replaced by the popular Michael Page. By the time of their meeting in May 2019, Lima had passed the Bellator 2 Tournament of the 8, as well as winning and defending the championship title. Even with the loss of the belt in a bitter confrontation with Rory McDonald a year earlier, Lima was still at his peak. The much-discussed meeting between Lima and Page took place in the Grand Prix Bellator welterweight title match. But despite the Brazilian's merits, he entered the fight as only a moderate favorite. The unrelenting hype surrounding the unbeaten Michael Page, with a record of 14-0, clearly influenced many fans who expected Mike to confidently defeat the recent champion. But Lima, first of all, showed how effective his low kicks are, even against a master of distance.
Lima again, experience, showing already, John, in the way he reacts, although he got moment.
Now Douglas is he's not quite at 100%.
Oh, and there. What a shot by Lima! Mamma mia!
At the beginning of the second 5 minutes, Michael threw a good right hook and dared to move forward. But Lima perfectly calculated the moment. He knocked Page with a low kick and then needed only one more blow to knock the cheeky grin off Michael's unprotected face. For almost 2 decades at combat sports, Gary Goodridge, nicknamed Big Daddy, has managed to be noted for a large number of unique knockouts. At one of the Brazilian tournaments, he used his powerful grip to force Augusto Santos to surrender by pinching his neck. At Pride 1, Gary literally knocked down Oleg Taktarov with one blow. A year later at Pride 3, Goodridge used the now signature technique of fighter Khabib Nurmagomedov, grabbing Amir Ranavardi's hand behind his back and delivered a severe beating to the American.
Oh, he's out!
But the undisputed jewel in the old-school fighter's distinguished career is his first mixed rules fight in 1996. After winning an arm wrestling tournament a year earlier and holding the Canadian heavyweight boxing title, Big Daddy was eager for new challenges. Despite the lack of connections, Goodridge showed a rare talent as a negotiator, and as a result of just one phone call, was enrolled as a participant in UFC 8. Each of the tournament fighters was required to represent one of the styles of martial arts. So Gary went to the Korean martial arts school, Kuksul 1, and easily beat their best fighter while preparing for the UFC. Goodridge was immediately awarded a fourth-degree black belt. Flamboyant, Goodridge made his UFC 8 debut against judoka Paul Herrera.
Way more powerful than Paul Herrera.
And quickly Herrera shoots the leg.
And Herrera's a very good grappler here.
Oh my, elbows in number by Goodridge.
And as the fight began, Herrera threw himself at Big Daddy's feet. A big mistake. He paid for it with a knockout.
Boy, that was fast.
Wow,
That was short and sweet.
that was explosive.
I'm not sure which one took him out.
Nico Price, also known as the Hybrid, tries to live up to his nickname in every fight. Some fighters can only finish an opponent from certain positions. However, Price is known for his ability to finish an opponent from almost any position. In July 2018, going into the UFC with 3 wins and 5 matches, Price faced the huge welterweight Randy Brown. In the first round, both fighters tried to take the initiative, but still, the round went to Brown. Determined to take the second round, Price tried to knock his opponent down, but he ended up on his back and was forced to get out of the situation. Taking advantage of Brown becoming entangled in his legs, Price suddenly used a hard strike, knocking Brown unconscious with the first blow. Nico recorded his first knockout in the UFC. After losing 2 of his next 3 appearances by knockout, the Hybrid decided to return to his usual techniques in his fight against James Vick. Once on the ground, Vick tried to improve his position and got to his feet while leaning to the side. A moment later, Price used his heel and struck Vick's jaw, knocking his opponent to the floor and recording his second knockout. Somersaulting kicks are unusual, but still regularly seen in kickboxing. Having its roots in karate, it is known as the signature move of Tenshin Nasukawa, who uses it frequently in the ring. At the same time, in the history of MMA, there are few attempts to kick in a roll, and for most of them, the fighter Justin Gaethje is responsible. But not so long ago, this impressive technique received its moment of fame. Famous for his performances in European tournaments, Frenchman Davy Gallon performed this move in November of 2019. His unexpected rival in the English MMA event was Ross Pearson. Having won his first victory in 7 matches, Pearson was ready to retire, but received an offer he could not refuse and returned to the MMA. After spending 3 competitive rounds, mainly in clinches and on the floor for the last minute of the match, Gallon dared to kick in a somersault and succeeded, sending the once formidable Pearson into a hard knockout.
With a bar, you can... Oh, shit! Oh, my God.
Goodness!
Ow.
I don't even know what to call that! Oh, my goodness!
Reverse upward elbows are not as uncommon as one might think, but they are rarely used outside of a static grip on the back of the torso. But who, if not the inventive Yair Rodriguez, who gave us the best knockout of 2016 with low kick scissors, was destined to take a fresh look at using this technique. On that memorable evening, he was paired with Chan Sung-jung, the gladiator of the octagon, famous for the rich history of the cage showdown, better known as the Korean Zombie. A 5-round meeting in November 2018 between the 15th-ranked Rodriguez and the 10th-ranked Zombie was intended to determine who was worthy to enter the title race. Sung came out with only 1 performance in the last 5 years due to his service in the Korean Army. Rodriguez, in turn, had not appeared in the cage for about a year and a half. In the last performance, Rodriguez suffered a crushing defeat from Frankie Edgar and was in dire need of a victory. Therefore, their duel managed to present the viewer with one of the best confrontations in 2018. For 5 rounds, the fighters tried to knock each other out in a standing position. As a result, Zhang was leading on the referee cards, and he attempted to bring a spectacular end to the fight. But nothing is for certain in the ring. Rodriguez, in the absolute last second of the fight, brought his opponent down to the floor with an unexpected blow. This set the record for the latest knockout in the history of the UFC and was so close to the end of the match that it is almost impossible to beat. The back upward elbow performed by Rodriguez was awarded the title Knockout of the Year. Multiple world karate and kickboxing champion Raymond Daniels is not yet well known in the MMA, but he is well known to any self-respecting fan of martial arts. Glorious for his flamboyant and aggressive style, and having emerged victorious from his confrontation with Stephen Thompson, he outplayed Michael Page in a trilogy before moving on to conquer MMA, becoming the Bellator kickboxing welterweight champion and performing well in Glory. Daniels decided to follow in the footsteps of his nemesis Michael Page and fought his second mixed martial arts fight in May of 2019. His first foray into MMA in 2008 followed the usual scenario. In the wake of the rise in popularity of mixed martial arts in 2008, Raymond decided to test himself in Strikeforce, where he expectedly lost by submission in the second round. But after 11 years at the top of kickboxing, few knew what to expect in the cage from a master of unusual knockouts. Debut fighter Wilker Barros was unlucky enough to become the victim of a spectacular strike.
Nice spinning body kick.
30 seconds before the end of the first round, Raymond knocked his opponent down with a roundhouse kick. Finding Barros at the neck, Daniels made a 2-rotation tornado punch, knocking down his puzzled opponent with a hard right hook. Later, Raymond Daniels won an extreme victory in mixed martial arts against experienced Jason King, having beautifully disassembled his opponent in less than a round. 40-year-old Daniels made fans anticipate his next performance in the MMA. The world of mixed martial arts knows many more unorthodox knockouts. If you want to see another video like this one, then like this video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on any new videos. See you next time.